Welcome back to What Arty Noobs for General Disturbance. This is the Crusader 5.5-in SP. It's the Tier 7 British SPG. It's located on the eastbourne of Airfield. Took me a while to work that one out, yes. And it's under the command of Photobomber, and he's armed with the stock gun, which is the 4.5-inch howitzer. Game on. Well, it's 450 alpha, 28mm pin, and 11.51 seconds by the book on reload, but Photobomber's got it down to 9.43. This little Arty is actually serious fun because it's very much like the Bishop and the FD304 in that it has superb accuracy if you let it dial in on the enemy, and can do a huge amount of damage to the enemy. But the only problem is that, yes, it's difficult to control, difficult to run away from the enemy unless you're driving in reverse, but at least you can shoot at the enemy when you're doing that. Okay, well, he's aiming towards the passes, expecting the enemy to appear in one of them, and they are obliging because a Patriot's turned up. He's in a Tier 8 game with Tier 7 after tanks in it, and he's bottom tier, so he's going to earn 10% extra for every Tier 8 he hits. And the first tank he hits is in fact a Tiger, which is the same tier as his own. But he did manage to get 183 hit points. The Tiger didn't like it, and instead of pulling forward at that point, he actually kept reversing because he doesn't want to be under Arty fire. I don't think that Black Prince, though, got the message. Okay, so he's going to do him again this time, but he can't reverse any further because there is a rock behind him. Rams out. Well, I think that one landed on the rock, I think. It didn't do any damage at all. But let's have a look. Rams out. Just in front of the Black Prince. I think it's about time for that Patriot to get a shot. He's focusing on the Black Prince or the Tiger for the moment. This should hit. It does. On the turret, right next to the turret ring. I'm not so sure that would have damaged the turret ring, but it's certainly likely to. That one's on the mantlet itself. He's picked up some serious damage off those two shots, but no penetrating shots yet. Rouse out. And that one did hit. I think it was actually on the rear of the vehicle, possibly on the actual track area. But he did get that critical hit. Okay, over here we've got a T-28 prototype. He thinks he's impervious, and now he's about to find out he's not. Rounds out. Hit. On the mantlet again. It's heavy armor on the mantlet itself. He fires another one in. That's going to miss. Yeah, just in front of him. He's virtually at maximum range because we've got a flattened reticule here. When the reticule flattens like that, it's normally because it's at maximum range, and you can't get much further until it gets completely flat, and that's it. This T-20 is going to suffer if he gets hit because he is very low on armor. He is pulling back after each shot, which tells me that he's got advanced warning. Shells are on the way in. Black Prince couldn't do anything to avoid that one because he was tracked at the time and he didn't have a repair kit spare. Rounds out the Tiger, who pulls back suddenly. We're certainly getting through the ammo in this game so far, with 3 tanks down on the enemy as well. Fires into the Tiger's path. Narrowly missed it. Not enough lead. Tiger's making his way this way. Is he going to stop? Well, he's firing blind now, but he did get a direct hit on the Tiger, even though he's firing blind. But now he's got a nice target here, a VK3002D, and that's the 88mm gun there. Oh, narrowly misses it. Of course, it's the Daimler version of the Panther, which was more like a T-34 in its design. Very, very flattened front plate. You can see the similarities between it and the T-34. Well, we managed to claw back a few tanks there, but we're now 4 down on the enemy. Their assault suddenly stopped. I think the only thing that stopped them actually was the Borsig, who's up on the hill, and the IS-3, who's stopping them from moving any further. Plus, of course, the number of wrecks that are in the way. That was a direct hit. He definitely hit the T28 prototype with that one. And the guy's pulling back because he didn't like that. Okay, if he pulls back and then a little bit more. Yep, he gets hit again. 41 hit points. Well, the enemy just lost their Tiger 1 because he decided to go around the corner, outflank us, and we didn't see him, but he did get killed fairly close to us. Okay. IS-3's holding his position. We've got a Shrek over here. Maximum range, letting it dial in. Oh, he pulls just slightly out. Fires the round in. Oh, look at that. He moves directly into the line of fire. 156 hit points. Of course, he doesn't know that he's actually in the maximum. If he goes up against the rock, he's actually in cover. But if he moves back, our teammates can get shots on him. So this is one of those happy coincidences where if he actually moves one way, we get a shot. And if he moves the other, our teammates get a shot. And in fact, the Borsig got the kill shot. Okay, T28 prototype. Over the rock. Direct hit! That was right on the money. Okay, the Barask is been reacquired. He's very low on hit points, but he's in the north. And I think he's just about out of range. Yeah, just out of range. Okay, in the meantime, Batchat 12 ton. Obviously got the hull which the Barask comes from. And it looks like the enemy's actually pulling back because we're down to only 2 tanks below the enemy now. They do have a number of tanks in the south of the map. A Forest Spirit, a Sturemil, and a Wizzy 131. Our teammates aren't looking at them. They're not checking them, so we could get suddenly assaulted by an enemy tank suddenly appearing in our rear. He might have to relocate Photobomber. And suddenly, if there's any warning that the enemy are moving down in the south, and in fact the enemy Batchat's turned up, and oh, we just lost our G-Saw. Fired a quick snapshot. Oh, yes, he got the Batchat with a snapshot just as he was retreating after killing the G-Saw on our team. But now this leaves us a bit of a problem. We're 2 tanks down. There's only 4 left on our team. Of course, one of those is the Borsig holding the enemy in the north, the IS-3, and the third one is our T20, who's up on Temple Mountain. He's just spotted the Wizzy, and he is within range, so we can't get a shot over here. I'm not so sure the T20 should really announce his presence. He ought to stay in the bushes and just spot for us. Rounds out. Oh, lovely shot. Penetrating round right into the side of the Wizzy 131, but unfortunately the Sturemil has actually made it all the way to the south end of the map. He's probably hunting for us at this moment, not realizing that we're not down there, and that shell just exploded in front of him, which would have told him that we're not down there. We just lost the IS-3. The Barask is coming down from that hill. He fires a little short, but... And now the enemy is capping, so they're only a few feet away from us at this moment. And we can't see them. I should say a few meters, actually, but obviously they're only a short distance away. We just can't see them at the moment. Now, we could just creep forward. I have a feeling they're going to be hiding behind one of those buildings, and it's probably... I'd say probably going to be something like the Batchat 12 ton or maybe the Sturemil. And if we do get spotted, then it could cost us. Oh, it's the Batchat 12 ton and the Forest Spirit. And we've been spotted. The Forest Spirit goes down with 1 round right to the face. But the Batchat's coming in for a kill. Will we reload in time? No. And sadly, that's the end of the game. Here's the end of battle stats. That was the 3rd class tanker for Photobomber in the Crusader SP with the stock gun. He managed to get a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits. In fact, he got 7. And he managed to get a win rate of 5,649, which is super unicum and a bit more. But sadly, he wasn't able to win the game for his team. In fact, even after shotgunning that Forest Spirit in the face, He couldn't get the reload done in time, and the Batchat did the correct thing, actually. He changed the angle to force Photobomber to keep changing his aim and turn his vehicle to match him. And, of course, he was having difficulty keeping that up as he was reloading because he knew he was under fire from the enemy Arty at the same time. And so, eventually, the Batchat just put one in him, and that was the end of his game. So, let's have a look at team score. Well, he didn't get the highest damage in the game, but he did get the highest damage on his team. The Barask ended up with a high caliber for 5,695 hit points. The second highest damage actually went to the guy who killed Photobomber, yes, the Batchat 12-ton. He ended up with a Top Gun and 2,788 hit points. And in third place, it's, yes, Photobomber with 2,669 hit points. When it came to kills, it was the Batchat 12-ton. He got 7 kills in that game, one short of getting a Radley's. 3 kills went to the Barask and also to our IS-3, and 2 kills went to Photobomber and the Shrek on the enemy team. When it came to base XP, it's the Barask who came out on top with 1,535. The Batchat 12-ton got 1,298. They were the only players to get over 1,000. And in third place was the Tiger 1 with 737. And we can see the Photobomb got 514, which put him in second place on his team. He fired 33 rounds of ammunition, got 14 direct hits on the enemy, 2 penetrating shots. I suspect that Forest Spirit right at the end of the game was a penetrating shot. Yes, it was, right through him. 481 hit points. That's why he killed him outright with that one. And I also suspect he penetrated, yes he did, the Wizzy 131, 441 hit points. It was just too much to be a non-pen, but it definitely went straight through the side of the vehicle and took him out of the game as well. He also got 25 splashes in that game, 2,669 hit points, of which 2,188 were at more than 300 meters. Obviously, the close range shots are actually on the Forest Spirit. 3 hits received from the enemy, 3 penetrating shots, and 7 enemy vehicles damaged, 2 were killed, and he earned 29,602 credits from that battle and 1,156 on a premium account XP. Oh dear, it was a target-rich environment, and they were doing so well to keep the enemy at bay for so long. They were working under a disadvantage because a lot of their players died off right early in the game, and no matter how much damage Photobomber was doing, there was just 3 heavy tanks sitting there in a row, blasting away at our guys, and eventually it told on our team, and we did fall behind. But I think the enemy actually fell behind because they drove to try and assault our team, and our Borsig actually was able to fire a few good rounds into them to hold them back. Of course, Photobomber had a good game as well because, of course, he was laying shells into those heavy tanks as well as the enemies who did manage to make their way through. But you can't do everything in this game, especially when your teammates let you down and leave you with so many enemies still to kill. It becomes very, very difficult to win. So it was a good fight, but sadly not to be on this occasion. I hope you enjoyed that replay. If you did, please give this video a like. Do subscribe to our channel. Leave a little comment down below because it feeds the algorithm. And thank you for watching.